What is going on YouTube? Landon Huffman here, back with another video. Today I'm going to break down the cost of our engines in our NASCAR late model stock cars. I'm going to give you a brief overview of what the engine is, how much I spent on the engine, drivetrain, and parts to make the engine go. It's not going to be absolutely exact. It's going to be more of a description based off of what I've spent and what I know that they're selling for. So thank you guys for clicking on today's video. If you're interested in the engines that we do race in these NASCAR late models, then this video is going to be for you. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into it. Many of you are, and those of you that watch this channel already know this, but if not, and this is your first video, this is a NASCAR late model stock car. We race them all over the Southeast, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, and in some of Tennessee. It also races in the Cars Tour late model stock division. So basically, this is the highest level you can go at a local level here in the Southeast under NASCAR sanctioned and at some tracks that do not have NASCAR sanctioned. The power plant of choice in today's NASCAR late model world is what you see here, a Harrington Enforcer engine, which is essentially a 350 cubic inch small block Chevy with aftermarket parts. It's basically a aftermarket creation of the GM 604 crate motor with a bunch of blueprinted and barcoded parts from Harrington Machine Shop over in Taylorsville, North Carolina. They sell it as a kit engine. It puts out roughly around 500 horsepower, give or take some top or bottom end, depending upon engine builder and things of that nature. I have a Rayvon Clark Enforcer engine here. Rayvon is our engine builder as of this year. Last year, the guy I was driving for at the time, he actually built our engines. But this is a Harrington Enforcer engine, and I'm going to break down all the costs that go into this Enforcer, what I paid for it, and then each individual portion of the engine and drivetrain. All right, let's start with our first cost, and that is acquiring the motor. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm going to break down my experience. So I purchased this motor that is in our late model car here, Gilbert. I purchased this motor from another competitor, and it is a used engine. It had 3 races on it since its latest rebuild. So it was used, then it was rebuilt, and then it was raced 3 times, and then I purchased it. So I got the engine, fuel pump, water pump, and all the pulleys on the engine attached for $12,500. I got a pretty good deal on it. I feel like they took good care of me. Realistically, probably $14,500 is about what you're looking for with all that stuff put together. And a lot of times those used motors have way more laps on them than what I purchased here. So I've got $12,500 just in the engine, the pulleys, fuel pump, and water pump. So we're gonna go ahead and break down what all I have in the front of the motor, each individual piece and the money that I've spent on it. As you can see right here on the heads, HMS Enforcer, all the Enforcer engines have that on the heads. But as far as the front of the motor goes, my pulley belts, I spent $50 on those. It's these right here if you're not familiar. My alternator I already had, but I spent $35 on the alternator bracket. My power steering pump, which is right here, I spent $150 on this, used from SRI, one of our partners over in Mooresville, North Carolina. So I purchased that KRC pump for 150 bucks. The reservoir and the bracket I already had, so I didn't have money in that, but I'm going to say that's going to run you another probably $50 for the bracket and the reservoir. I forgot to mention the distributor came with the engine as well, so that was included in the $12,500. But the starter, I have $200 in the starter and everything that goes along with it down here underneath. Carburetor itself, I had a carburetor, but we're just going to say $850 for the carburetor. And I had fuel lines and all that good stuff as well. But starter, $200, and then the distributor came with it. I'm not real sure what a distributor will run you right now. I'll have to look into that. So we are back here on the back side of the motor now, drivetrain related. Naturally, I had to purchase a bell housing. I've got $200 into my bell housing. Obviously, I spray painted it. I bought a cheap one. We've also got our clutch, throwout bearing, and clutch button, which is all hidden underneath the bell housing. I bought a brand new Tilton 3-disc clutch from SRI. It was $800, and then I've got around 350 bucks in my clutch button and my throwout bearing, which is all connected back in there. And then as you can see, we still run the old style T10 transmissions in these late model stock cars. Realistically, those things have been around for years and years and years. They used to run in the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series back in the day. Now late model stocks are still using them, but I've got around $1,000 in my transmission as well, which is actually one that I had from a while back. but you can find one for around $1,000 to $1,200. If you're interested in knowing what exact carburetor we run on the late model stock cars, the Enforcer is allowed a 650 4-barrel carburetor, so 650 Holley carb. That's what we run on these. And then if you were looking at like a limited late model, you can run a 500 2-barrel, a 390 4-barrel, and a 604 crate. I believe the Enforcer in limited late model is required to run the 2-barrel. But if you have a 604 crate motor, you can run the 4-barrel in limited. But this is a video about late model stocks, not limited late models. Like I said, this is my late model stock car, but that is my limited late model. There's really not a whole lot difference, but if you would like for me to make a video breaking down the two of these, let me know in the comments, and we might have to do that. Both motor differences and differences in the car. So if we're talking about drivetrain, we can go ahead and include the shifter in that. I've got $150 into the shifter. Obviously, that's the Hurst portion up top, and then the shifter linkage and everything that connects down on the bottom to the transmission as well. We can also include electrical, since I was talking about the distributor, but our MSD box here, that's going to run you around $200 to $250 as well, with the soft touch included in it and not having to mount a different soft touch for your rev limiter. So I'm going to say $250 for the MSD. Also, give a quick shout out to High Rock Vodka, our primary sponsor on our late model stock here at Huffman Racing. But we've got 75 ready to rock and roll for the Cars Tour at Hickory Motor Speedway this weekend. 41 late model stocks on the entry blank. It's going to be a crazy race. I'm looking forward to getting behind the wheel and running a tour race in my own equipment again. It's been a very long time. We actually had a test day yesterday. I'll throw a clip in here right now of me and Dale Jr. running some laps. So in total, counting engine, all the accessories, transmission, MSD box, distributor, clutch, all the above. I forgot a flywheel in there. I already had a flywheel, but you do have to buy a flywheel as well. I'm going to say that's probably around $60 to $100 for the flywheel. There might be some small stuff that I missed, but roughly I've got around $17,000 in my motor. Some of those parts I already had. I've kind of been able to cut corners here and there, but I've got around $16,500 in my motor. I would say straight from a brand new builder, you're looking at roughly $20K, maybe more, for a good built engine brand new. And arguably, some people are probably spending $25,000. I mean, at $25K, I can't give you an exact estimate on what the brand new motors are going for just because I don't have a brand new motor. I probably won't for a while, and I never have. But, you know, we make them last here, and I don't turn my motor near as much as most people, which makes it last a lot longer. But these Harrington Enforcer engines are good engines. They last for a long time. They're durable, and they have parts built to race. Like I mentioned earlier, the engine in our limited late model right now is a 604 crate motor. That's actually the engine that we used to run in late model stock back probably 8 to 10 years ago, 2013, 14, 15, 2016. The 604 was the main motor, and now obviously the Enforcer's out. It's a better option, but this was a much more economical option, probably half the price of what we spend now, which is unfortunate, but racers are going to be racers, and we always price ourselves out of what we're doing. Now, to rebuild this motor, I think they say roughly 3,000 laps. I've ran them way longer than that, but I would say around 3,000 laps is when you're supposed to have them refreshed, and that's going to run you around $5 to $6 grand for a full refresh. So they do get pricey on that front, but that's part of it. That's part of racing. Now, this isn't the only option for late model stocks. This is just the most popular option. There's also a Ford crate engine that is very similar in output to this Enforcer motor, and that's honestly what the Enforcer motor was created to compete with, because the 604 wasn't able to compete with the Ford back, you know, in the 2015 time period. But there's also a Chevy upgrade motor, which is very similar to the Enforcer. Costs a little more, but costs less to rebuild as well. So there's a few more options that you can run in late model. Not only the Enforcer, but the Enforcer is the most popular. I mentioned this in my last video, but we do have these hats coming for you guys with the 75 on the side, High Rock Vodka Racing Team. These will be available very soon for you at landonhuffman.shop. We also have a fresh restock in these shirts that I'll put a picture right here. the High Rock Vodka Tour, Landon Huffman 2023 Tour shirts. Those are available, complete, full-size restock now on the website. Go check them out. They're going to be going quick. And yeah, so full-size restock on those as well. I don't think this video ended up being all that long. My intentions were to keep it short and sweet. I just wanted to fill you guys in on what it costs us to have this motor in our race car. And hopefully this was somewhat educational. Like I said, if you would like for me to make a video comparing the limited late model and the late model stock, please by all means let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about this motor. Do you feel like this is a good deal for what we're getting? Those of you that know engines, let me know. But thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Cars Tour this weekend, this Saturday night, Hickory Motor Speedway. You can watch it live on Flow Racing. I've got a link down in the description for you to purchase Flow Racing subscription. If you don't have it already, you can watch all of my Hickory races live, plus all the Cars Tour races live. It's a very, very good deal. So check that out if you're interested. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you guys in the next video. I'm out.